Dallas Appellate Attorney David Coale, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, obviously, lots of political drama in Austin, and Democrats have now gone to Chicago. They've gone to Albany, New York, and Boston, Massachusetts, all in an effort to avoid or break quorum, as they would say, and avoid the debate over the newly drawn congressional maps by Republicans here in the state of Texas. And the one thing that I wanted to chat with you about is Governor Abbott sent them a letter late Sunday night, the House Democrats who left
hmm
Texas, and basically said that he believes he has the power to, and he referenced this opinion by Attorney General Ken Paxton from
hmm
2021, the last time that Democrats left the state to break quorum. And he basically said he believes he could have the right to remove them from office, citing this opinion. You've read the opinion. What do you say? Can the governor?
Well, no, he can't. I mean, he has the right. The opinion describes the right that he has to file an action. Frankly, anybody has the right to file such an action called a quo warranto action, which basically means you're not doing your job. And what the point that Mr. Paxton makes in his letter is a pretty straightforward one, that you can resign your office in one of two ways. You can sign a formal resignation letter and leave, kind of like Nixon did or something, or you can just not show up for work. And the cases there are involve people that have, they get a severe illness in office and they just can't physically go to the sessions or talk to people on the phone anymore, and they just can't do their job. And so the legal label for that is abandonment, when you resign but you haven't done it formally. And he says if someone has abandoned their position, then there's this form of lawsuit called a quo warranto lawsuit that can be brought against them to have them formally, officially taken out of that position and given it to somebody who wants it. But that principle's been around forever. There's nothing new about that. And the standard he has to hit there is pretty high, that they didn't just not show up for a couple of weeks, but they intended to relinquish their position. And I think all these people have been very clear that they're coming back at some point. In fact, they're absent because they think it's part of being a good representative. So that form of the lawsuit's there. He can try to bring it. He might even bring some as a technique for trying to get him to come back. The ultimate likelihood of success there, I think, is pretty low for the kind of lawsuit he's talking about bringing.
I mean, I think the summary actually makes an interesting point here. And the Attorney General said, quote, Texas courts recognize that a vacancy may occur by abandonment of
Mhm.
office, to your point. Whether a specific legislator abandoned his or her office such that a vacancy occurred will be a fact question
Yep,
for a court and is
exactly.
beyond the scope of an attorney general opinion.
Yeah, the first 4 pages of the letter actually had a number of disclaimers like that, saying, "Look, it depends on the case." But that's exactly what would happen if the someone wanted to bring such a case about one of the legislatures that would left. They'd say, "You've abandoned your position, so you should be formally removed from it." They'd say, "No, I wasn't. I was just out gone for a couple of weeks, and I made clear I was coming back, and my staff continued to work, and this and that and the other." And at some point, a judge or a jury would hear that and make a decision. The odds that any of this would last that long to actually reach that point, I think, is pretty low. But could you file such an action, and could you try and get some kind of emergency motion from a court? Yeah, you probably could. But at the end of the day, it's just another lawsuit and it works its way through the court process. By the time they got it resolved, it'd be time for a new election.
And that's the other thing. I mean, while this is all within the legal aspect, there's still politics involved because these local judges where these cases would be brought, uh, if the governor is going after a Democratic state lawmaker from Dallas County or
Mhm.
Travis County or Harris County or Bear County, the big Democratic strongholds, what Democratic judge is going to sign off on that?
Yeah, there's a question where you file that lawsuit, right? Do you file in Austin because that's where the legislature is? Do you have to go to the home turf of the legislator? Do you have to go into our new business court system, which also has some constitutional jurisdiction? But clearly, if you got serious about litigation there, fussing about where to bring the lawsuit would be a big issue on the front end, and it would chew up even more time.
And my last question to you on this is I saw one of the state lawmakers is going to be proposing a bill that would basically make it so that, any lawmaker that does this, it would be against, they would codify it, right? So
Hmm.
allow lawmakers to then be vacated and removed from office if they do this. Whether that passes, obviously, we've got a lot more steps on that. But
Hmm.
that may be the most solid way, though, to keep this from happening in the future, right?
Probably. I mean, there's an argument that the legislator has a right to express himself or herself a number of different ways to discharge their duties, and not showing up out of protest is one of those ways. I mean, abstaining from votes is a thing that people do all the time for all kinds of reasons. So there's some argument that the law isn't constitutional because the decision to not go to office, not go to a particular session is part of being a legislator. I'm not sure that really holds a lot of water. And I do think getting the rules a little more clear about this would avoid this problem, because this happens every few years and it never lasts. They always come back, but it does cause a lot of delay and strife in the meantime.
We will leave it there. Appellate attorney David Coale, thank you as always. We
Thank
appreciate
you. I appreciate it. Bye bye.